This video provides an overview of the activities and procedures that we're going to use in the first web-based assignment, that of establishing a very strong personal web presence, gearing the content of that presence to a particular organizational setting, and then integrating that into essentially a mashup type of website in SmartSpace. Let me begin by emphasizing again the purpose of the course, which is to help you use a variety of web-based technologies that are freely available to you, that you can use in whatever context you wish, to establish a strong web presence and use those to further the marketing objectives in an organizational setting. So let's take a look at how we're going to accomplish those objectives, and we start in the schedule by looking at the first of the various components of the SmartSpace site project that are spread over several weeks in the course. If you follow one of those links, what you'll see is that all of these assignments are described in this single page, which pulls this project together. It is the biggest single project that you do, and it has multiple components which are then integrated into a SmartSpace web page at the end of this project. The rationale is listed here, essentially what I've told you, that there are now all kinds of social media and media sharing resources, blogs, mapping, media sharing, video, pictures, resources available to you, that you can now create a very strong personal web presence using all of those, and that in the area now of internet marketing and e-commerce, more and more a big function of trying to market organizations and their products and services successfully is to engage them in those technologies and use them to draw attention and customers or clients or patients or whatever the service is looking for to their site, and then finally to the company. So we're going to be doing as we go through the process, we're going to be doing a number of different individual technologies that we will then pull together at the very last assignment into a single site. So as we get going, your first stage in the process is to register with various sites that we'll be using, the various services that we'll be using, so that you have accounts and you're ready to go. The second part of the process is a very important one. It's going to be one that guides everything else that you do, and that is planning the web presence. What are you trying to accomplish? Now notice here that even though we're working with a lot of personal type of information, social sites, these are things that individuals use to put their information and data that they want to have available about themselves on the web. You're going to be doing this from an organizational context. And you have two choices here. You can either use the default organization, which is described here, Kentucky Treasures, and this will be the organization that is the focus of all your efforts, or you can use an actual or hypothetical organization of your choosing. If it's a real organization, make sure that you get permission to use them. If it's an organization a company that you might want to start, or an organization that you think might have some interest in this, or an organization that you think would be particularly suited to the type of work that you're doing. You can create that organizational profile for yourself and gear your efforts in that direction. If you have difficulty coming up with an organizational scenario, please let me know. But as in part two, as we go along, this includes the organizational scenario and then some planning documents. How do you plan on using Facebook and Twitter, Picasa web albums, YouTube, Google Maps, Blogger and RSS feeds, and then SocialSpace to pull this together? As you address this for the first time, you might draft some tentative plans here, depending on which of these technologies you're familiar with. And remember, your goal is not simply to establish your personal presence in these areas, but also to use these resources in support of the organizational scenario upon which you're working. So then in part three, we start to go through the individual technologies with Facebook and Twitter. You may well have already done some of these things and have established accounts here and worked with these at great length. However, remember that your objective here now is to try and focus some of the content and the emphasis on these resources onto your organizational setting. And the way it works is we focus on a different technology or set of technologies every week. You perform the functions that are listed here. If you need help, you always have tutorials available to you for each of the technologies that we're using. to guide you through them and show you the procedures that we're using in the task that we're performing. And for most of these, you have an assignment or requirement at the very end to indicate to me that you've completed working on this project and that you've gotten the content down of this particular technology and you're ready to go. So we do Facebook and Twitter. Then we move on to Picasa, which is what we're going to use as an image system because it gives us the opportunity to geotag pictures and then use those in some of the mapping things that we're going to be doing. If you already have another image processor elsewhere, that's fine, but use a Picasa account for here so that you can get this down. And then you also have some videos to help you with that process. Then we move to YouTube and upload a video project and identify some of our favorites and use Google Maps to pull some of the images and YouTube materials together. We design a blog, so you end up with a blog from the system using a particular source. Once again, if you have a blog somewhere already, use this as an opportunity to create another one to make sure that it fits in with the system that we're working here. And then we will, at the very end of this process, you will purchase a personal domain name. We're actually going to use GoDaddy.com now simply because it's easy to do and pretty quick to get to, and also it provides a service for pulling many of these resources together in the SparkSpace environment, so that's what we're going to do. Once again, if you already have a website, that's fine, but for our purposes, you need to develop this one or use this hosting service for the domain that you already have to pull this material together in a common place. So now the social space will give you a place to integrate content from everything that you've done, and at the end of the project, this social space site is what I will evaluate for your work, because it will include material from everything else that you've done. Do not forget at the bottom the 4 to 6 double-spaced written report that follows the outline in part 2. So what you used in part 2 as a planning document, you now use as a written report to communicate to users and readers and to me the purpose of the site and how you've pulled the materials that you've created together in support of your organizational scenario. And that then is project 1. It will be worth 80 points in the grading scale.